I know I don't want to be with people who have caused harm towards me or have assaulted me. I don't want to be around them. I know I don't want to record with some previous bros. So, we'll just see what happens.
I don't feel that way. I can get over some stuff. If we might have scuffled a little bit, I can probably move on down
Right.
the road. But everybody ain't like that. Some people you put hands on, that crosses a line for them.
Because everything
Yeah.
went legal.
Yeah.
And so they
And
were
it got so
trying.
dark.
Yes.
It turned Zeus Network quick, real quick.
Yeah.
If Monique can move forward with Gizelle, I want to see her move forward with Candiace.
Yes.
Bros, let's talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. The season's over. We got to see Monique's return from start to finish. Did Monique deliver the comeback you expected, or did her return fall flat? Damien, what do you think?
I think her return fell a little flat for me. I was looking forward to Monique coming back. She's beautiful. She's a standout housewife. She's got a lot of iconic moments, good reads that she delivers. I'll never forget her last reunion that she did when she read Gizelle for Filth. But her return for me was a little lackluster. And I guess what topped it off for me was how she tried to compare her marriage with Chris to Angel's marriage with Bobby. I didn't see any comparisons, and it almost felt like to me, well, because I went through this, I kind of want to see you go through that. That's just what I took from it. So I was a little disappointed. The only way I think a Monique return would have been worth it had been if Candiace was there.
Lon, what do you think?
It's not the way that I
I know
expected.
Candiace is your girl.
Yes, Candice is my girl. But here's the thing is that I remember whenever we were discussing about Monique coming back to the show and we had a debate about it. And I said, do you think she's just gonna bang a gong? She banged a gong. Okay. And I will say that like I will say that for me, I get it for one half because I think like coming back into a group, you want to start off on a fresh new chapter, a fresh new perspective. But I will say the one thing that I lived for is whenever she had the binder party, honey, Gizelle was uncomfortable because she was like, "Oh Lord, the binder! I better get, I better get ready for whatever is about to
Yeah.
happen." But I think sooner and later, as more Monique is going to be in this group, I think we're going to expect some more fire moments from her. Okay.
Eric, did you want more fire?
I just don't feel like she really had a chance with what was happening in Potomac. I don't think anything she could have done would have been as impactful because they had the Wendy issue, they had Karen coming back. They just had so much already in tow that she really couldn't just jump into Karen being arrested. Like she can't just jump into that. She can't just jump into like Wendy getting arrested. I'm sorry, not Karen. So I think that for like her, I think it was very successful as far as she's coming back in and showing her new life and kind of seeing where she's at right now. And I think it set her up for the future for her to build these relationships again. I think it's specifically because she's not coming into a cast that really knows her. She only really had kind of Wendy because she was in her last season. She had Gizelle and she had Ashley, which they were just a mess this season. So they couldn't even concentrate on helping her back in. And I think that was kind of like what happened.
She's also changed a lot. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
Yeah.
not
I
the
agree.
same in a good way, I think. I think she's grown up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Izzy, I want to know what you think, but I just want to say I agree with Eric because I feel like Monique didn't come back to live in the past, to hang
Hmm.
out in the past. I feel like she came back to press the reset. And I feel like she did a beautiful job at pressing the reset with Gizelle, with the ladies. One thing that sort of made me question is all it took was a lunch all by itself to get everything sorted between
Yeah.
Monique and Gizelle. In my brain, I thought it would take a little bit more
I just
conversation.
don't think she takes Giselle seriously anymore. I think that Monique learned a lot in her being in different casts, working with different networks. I think she was just like not even paying Giselle mind. I think she was just like, I'm not sitting for to argue with you anymore. I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm just going to come here and find a new enemy, find someone else to fight with. Because she's definitely going to be end up either if they keep Angel. I think that's going to be a relationship that we're going to see toggle back and forth.
But as the saying goes, I think it's true, time heals all wounds. I think Monique has had a
Yes.
lot of time to reflect, to have accountability on her side of whatever it is. And I think Gizelle, a lot of the other ladies have had that time to reflect and have that as well.
Yeah, I agree with Damien. Monique's return as a friend of was a little disappointing for me. I know she just returned as a friend of, but I would have loved to see how she's grown professionally. Of course, we saw a little bit of her personal growth, but she was explaining a lot of that. I would have loved for her to demonstrate it when you usually say and explain more. I mean, actions speak louder than words. So I would have loved to see some change. She kept bringing up Chris Samuels, and it was. I didn't really like that. I would have loved that she could have shown what she has after the divorce. I know she explained the house being renovated. If I'm not mistaken, this is also the same house she was living with Chris Samuels in.
What's the issue with Monique bringing up Chris? I want to know what happened with
Yeah,
the
me
two of
too.
them. I feel like at her last season of Love and Marriage DC, we see the breakdown. She didn't return to Love and Marriage DC. It would have been strange if Monique returned to the show and didn't mention her ex-husband.
Yes.
Well, she
I'd be
talked
But she
shocked.
was
about it.
Yeah, I mean,
She
she kept
talked about it.
comparing herself to Bobby, Angel's husband, and Angel and Bobby appear to be fine. I don't. It's boring. Divorce is boring. That we know the facts. The facts is she's divorced now, and we don't. I'm okay with moving forward. And I know she had a podcast before, but was that canceled? I mean, where is she at professionally? And that's what I wanted. But she kept comparing herself to Angel, and Angel was just a mess. So that's that.
Well, I feel like she only really did that at the end. I don't think like when she first came in, she was doing that at all. I think they were trying to perpetuate that storyline, especially with Stacey. They kept trying to bring
Yes.
up Chris to bother her, and I think she was
Yeah.
just kind of like responding to it. And I think that when you go through something traumatic like a divorce that's very public, that with a very public person, you can see things in other people that trigger you. Whether it's right or
Hmm.
wrong, I think that that's a fair response as a human, especially when you're trying to relate with a group of girls, and that's kind of what the whole point of Housewives is that they talk about their relationships, they talk about their breakups, like that's what we watch for.
Well, I was bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Monique did not take the bait. And like Lawton said, she did have the gong.
She banged that gong, honey. She banged that gong.
I still want to know what happened. You went to Bravo, you left, you trashed them. You went to Own, you left, you trashed them. You're back at
And then back to
Bravo.
Bravo.
So I just want to and listen, it could be that like she said on the show, I was childish. I had a lot going on. I've grown up a lot. Maybe she realized she was the problem back then, and it wasn't the production. It wasn't the TV show. I don't know if she's getting. I'm sure she's getting spousal support, child support, something. Because what I wonder is how is
I wonder
Monique
if she
making
gets it for the
money?
bird. I
Maybe
wonder if
she's
she gets
back
it
to
for
make
the
money
bird.
for the bird.
I hope she gets child support for that bird.
Oh yeah, that was her
Not
Oh,
child
I
baby.
think he
support.
passed away. T'Challa passed away, I think, or she
T'Challa
got
passed
I
away
immunized.
years
know.
ago.
Well, bros, even though Monique is back, Candiace
Hmm.
says she has not closed the door on a return to the
Yes.
show, even if Monique is there. Listen, if they're both back, is there a path to healing? Or is their sisterhood done forever? Fair.
I think if they bring Candace back, it's going to be for a takedown for Ashley and Giselle. That would be production's whole
Please,
turn on it,
please,
because that would be
Bravo.
the only, because I can't see Candace and Monique staying mad at each other, because they were really close friends
Yeah.
until they fell out. They were relatively
Yes.
close, and they hated the same people the entire time until they had that fallout. And I think the stress of what Monique was going through at the time with her husband played a part to it. I really just I can fully see her coming back, and then the takedown of Gizelle and Ashley, and that would be just what the year would be. And then you just see Stacey behind, just like cheerleading them, because we know Candace loves Stacey. So
Yeah.
Um,
I will say, like, the whole thing is that I think Bravo is really getting her to make an epic return. And this is the reason why. She left, she had a baby, something that she has been talking about all through her time on Potomac. Then after that, she's on Traders. She is a queen on there. She's getting so much recognition. Then after that, I think that is going to be just like when Tamra Judge left Real Housewives of Orange County, because Tamra and Shannon were not speaking to each other. They were never going to be friends. Okay. And so for Tamra Judge to be on Ultimate Girls Trip, that was the way for her to get back on Real Housewives of Orange County. And I think that's what's going to happen with Monique and Candiace, is that they're both going to come back and they're both going to have a sit down and they're going to talk about their issues.
Yes, keyword sit
Candace
down.
was Candace was just on Ultimate Girls Trip too, the 20-year reunion they're doing.
Yeah,
She just
Yeah.
filmed with them in Atlanta, and they only chose her and I think it was Stacey. They were the only two from Potomac that they chose.
and they
So
got
I'm
her on
Well,
like,
no,
traders.
Ashley and
They're
Gizelle were
using Candice
there.
a
oh,
lot, like they're using Portia a lot.
Giselle's part
Yeah.
of the main cast. I don't remember if Ashley was there. I don't remember.
Ashley was
Um,
It,
there. Yeah, because
Izzy,
there's some
Izzy,
sort of confrontation
Izzy, what
between
do you?
Ashley and Giselle.
Is,
I mean, Ashley and Candace.
mm-hmm. Izzy, what do you think?
I definitely know that if someone assaults me, I'd feel a type of way of wanting to be around them. I know I don't want to be with people who have caused harm towards me or have assaulted me. I don't want to be around them. So it'll be interesting to see how they resolve that and whether or not Candace will choose to return to the show. I know I don't want to record with some previous bros who were guest co-hosts at some point. So, we'll just see what happens.
I mean, they did it with Portia and Kenya, and they did it within
Yeah.
a season.
Yeah.
I think the difference
Fully
is
did it
though. I
within the
think I
season.
think it's because everybody is different. Like where
Right,
Izzy's saying, I understand where he's coming from. I don't feel that way. I can get over some stuff if we might have scuffled a little bit. I can probably move on
right,
down the road. But everybody ain't like that. When some people you put hands on, that crosses a line for them. Some people didn't grow up in
right.
environments like that, or they did grow up in environments like that, and it's very triggering to them. However, I
Yeah,
will say I do believe that these two girls can work it out because the
Yes.
difference
Yeah.
what they've got on their side versus real life is that they're on a reality show, and y'all all know in real life if we got a problem or if somebody knocked us upside the head, we just ain't gonna deal with them ever again. They have
Yeah.
to sit down and
right.
talk about this stuff. They're forced to. So in my mind, it's inevitable for them to eventually just wash this
Yeah.
all out and
Yeah,
come back to center.
Drive back to Potomac, Candace, please.
If Monique can move forward with Gizelle, I want to see her move forward with Candace,
Yes.
because it's going to take a real conversation, a raw, real, truthful, tearful conversation between Monique and Candace. I don't want them to just play pretend
right.
and act as though things weren't as bad as they really were. I want them to get raw, get real. And I think Candace is going to be willing to have a real conversation, not just a conversation for the sake of it,
Yeah.
but a conversation that centers on truth.
I think Monique will too. Monique just feels lighter, just like different,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
happier. Like, so I can see her. It's going to take her saying, look, I'm so sorry that I put my hands on you. It's going to take that, but I think she's capable.
Yeah. I think Monique, you're right, Damien. I think Monique has outgrown her worst moment on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Like, that was her
Hmm.
worst moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they never got a conversation
Izzy, to
because
Keyword
it
you,
went
talk.
just,
legal. It went legal. And that's the reason why they couldn't have a conversation, because everything
Yeah,
went
yeah.
legal.
yeah.
And so they
And
were
it got so
trying.
dark.
It turned Zeus Network quick, real quick.
Yeah, they
Okay.
got Ashley involved to submit some testimony and, against Candace. So
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's impossible. And I think it would be an interesting discussion to see unfold. I was just saying in general, I avoid confrontation from people who have caused harm and I would want to stay away from them. But that's something that, I guess if Candace is willing to have that conversation, then, it'd be interesting to see how everything unfolds.
Everyone looking in, make sure that you like this video. Make sure you comment down below. The Bros of Bro Chat will be back. We'll see you again
Bye, everybody.
soon.
And I don't think first season girls should be really throwing trips. They got to get their feet wet. They got to get used to this whole. It's not like you're throwing a
No,
trip.
I disagree. I
We're not
disagree.
throwing a regular trip though, y'all. It's not like us five going on a trip. There is so many logistics around it that we're not seeing.
Exactly. But if you're gonna plug your business, my guy, which is what she was doing, she was
Now,
trying to get us to her little business that was starting. That's what was the point of it. But you can't
yes.
get there, girl.
Now,
You
let
can't
me
get
say this.
there.
Let me say this. There were a lot of things that I saw from Angel pertaining her business that made me squint. I do agree with. I can get with you on that. However, these girls were, particularly Gizelle, Ashley, Stacey. They were so mean and nasty. I felt like I was back in high school. I wanted to jump in the screen and like defend her.